New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
Yes, good to go. What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Nick of Time Show. Dance Lee. Here give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time, and the Knicks beat the 76ers 125-119. I feel good. I don't care who this team is. The way you've been losing to these bum teams, I'm taking any team, any win I can, all right? Let's get it. So let's get to these stats though. Josh Hart gives you 10 points, 12 assists, and 17 rebounds. 5 of those are offensive. Let's go, Josh Hart, giving you another triple-double. OG Anunoby gave you 17 points and 4 assists. Mikal Bridges gave you 23 points. Precious Achiuwa had 10 points, 3 huge blocks on the night. Deuce McBride, gives you 13 points, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds. And Brunson gives you a ho-hum 38 points and 2 steals, all right? Knicks didn't really have that high-octane offense going really, but still gave you 28 assists in overtime and out-rebounded the 76ers 52-39. Shades of old-school Knicks rebounding was in effect today. And guess what, guys? The trend of the bench getting smacked ended today. The Knicks bench outscored the 76ers bench 29-21. We're going to talk about it all, the good, the bad, the ugly. And before I do that, I'm going to introduce you to my guy, the Latin Assassin. The Latin Assassin, ESPN contributor, Bleacher Report contributor, Lee Escobedo. What's going on, Lee?
What's good, Jay Ellis, my brother? Good to be here after a win. After, you're right, a pretty tough stretch of basketball for the New York Knicks, especially defensively. Tonight, it was great to be reminded that the Knicks can still win a game when it's 2 men fighting in the mud over a knife. Love this gritty, nasty half-court team. I feel like the Knicks were able to impose their pace and their emphasis on half-court as well, really control the tempo, even without Cat, which I thought was very impressive, and that's because of my main man, Jericho Sims. Let's go!
Yeah, the defense from Jericho Sims early and Precious Achiuwa late was definitely needed. In general, even though we had some lapses offensively, I still felt like our defense was pretty good in the fourth quarter, despite them kind of gaining ground. Third quarter, too, I feel like our defense was still pretty good. I seemed like we were a little bit angry off of what was happening with the Pistons. I felt like a lot of the three-point shots were challenged pretty well. I felt Josh Hart in particular, he was really good at challenging three-point shots. I felt like we did a good job of challenging shots at the rim without fouling a lot, even though the Maxey shot, I felt like if we would have challenged that and one that Maxey hit within like under a minute to go, falling away, I feel like we could have won that challenge because I didn't see anything really there. I just thought our offense was really the culprit to why the 76ers kind of creep back in the game, not necessarily our defense. But you know what? The signs of good teams is you find multiple ways to win. And today it was a lot of the defense. It was a lot of making the right offensive plays at the right time. And it was a lot of the old school Knicks that we talked about before the show started, man, the offensive rebounding. This was definitely last year's Knicks where we shot crappy and just got after the ball off the glass and then tried to put the game away that way. Shades of last year's Knicks 76ers, definitely fast forward till today.
Yeah, there were a couple things I just wanted to highlight really quickly in a general sense. I like the defensive effort from Jalen Brunson. I like the defensive execution from Mikal Bridges. And I think of all of our bids, this was a game where we were really able to utilize Sims and reinterpret our half-court rim protection and paint protection that we saw last year with Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson. I really like the idea of Jericho Sims being back in this rotation because there are moments where we're really going to need to revert back to that identity before Mitchell Robinson's return to be able to beat teams in that real sluggish grind out fight because our three-point shot has shown One, we don't hit on high volume, and two, it's very, very inconsistent. So I'm advocating strongly for Sims to be put back into the rotation because he is one of the best rim protectors statistically, and it passes the eye test as well, especially tonight to full advantage of Philadelphia having no size up front.
Yeah, not only that, Sims perimeter defense, sometimes you forget how good that really is. Sometimes there was a time where he kind of locked up Maxey for a second. I'm like, man, Maxey is fast.
Yes, he did.
So for him to kind of be able to keep up with Maxey on the perimeter and kind of hold his zone was pretty impressive. And on top of that, too, not that Sims' offense was particularly pretty, but he was a little bit more aggressive offensively than I'm used to seeing him. I feel like somebody got into his ear because usually when he gets the offensive rebounds, he kind of kicks it back out. He actually attempted a shot after offensive rebound. He actually attempted a floater today in like the first quarter. Not to say he's been some Shaq level of he's not to say he's been some Shaq level of aggressiveness on offense, but more than I'm used to seeing him. I feel like he put a couple more shots up than I'm used to seeing.
Yes, I'm so happy that you mentioned that about Jericho Sims' perimeter defense. I'm going to make a bold claim. Happy with the chat or anyone on Twitter to disagree with me. I think Jericho Sims is our best perimeter defender of all of our bigs. I think he's also our best pick and roll defender of all of our bigs. And I was watching him at night. There's a sequence in the first quarter, about halfway through. First of all, he definitely came out with energy and a focus. You could tell that he wanted to really impose himself defensively, knowing who he was going up against. Very abysmal front court. He also was wanting to be very aggressive. I thought the way that he ran routes was really smart today. He was putting in positions to catch lobs, even though the lobs weren't being thrown. He consistently positioned himself to at least have that as an option so the defense had to react to it. And they couldn't fully hedge away from him as a rim runner. I love that because it opened up the space a little bit for Brunson, so he got cooking in the mid-range section. But there was a sequence on defense where I saw Sims guard the perimeter. He floated back on the correct hedge. He called out to Josh Hart to go back to the perimeter. So when he came back to the post, he was on man and drop coverage. And then he went back up to the level and guarded the three-point line. And I was like, damn. Sims's awareness not only was, I felt he on a string, he was really the center of gravity on the defense too, and the rest of the players were reacting to his movement and where he was keeping their man better in front of them and really shutting down the driving lanes to the court. I was very impressed. I'm impressed with Achiuwa too. That two-headed monster tonight, we really needed that. This was like on paper, best case scenario for the production we could have gotten out of those two without Karl-Anthony Towns. And again, I think it really shows the value of being able to have Sims at the 5 and keeping Precious at the 4, where I find him to be much more effective. He's able to actually utilize himself as a lob threat, as a backdoor cutter, and the activity around the rim as an offensive rebounder, because Sims is there in the middle, manning the paint.
I'm with you, Lee, on the best perimeter big take. I'm 100% with you. I think he's the best perimeter big defender on the team by far. The quickness, the agility, the motor. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Now, when it comes to the rim protection, Mitch might have something to say about that.
Just because I didn't say he's the best.
I know. But
I didn't say that. I'm not going that far.
I know. Yeah, I already know you're not saying that. But yeah, for sure, perimeter. I think I'll give the edge to Sims over Precious for sure.
Pick and roll too.
Yeah, and pick and roll too. And he's just bigger. But still Precious, really impressive game today. It's funny enough, we had a group chat and George was kind of talking smack about Precious right before he turned up.
I was spam memeing him too. I was letting him know how wrong he was. Shout out George, man.
Yeah, shout out to our guy George. But Precious, this is actually, to put things in perspective, this is Precious's 20th game of the season. So good to see him have an impactful game, 20th game of the season. But he had a couple of huge blocks. The block in the overtime was huge. When Maxey was driving and he pinned it to the glass after getting the goaltend right before overtime, that was a huge block. So yeah, I love Precious minutes today too as well. So the Shout out to the two bigs who kind of covered well for Karl-Anthony Towns, who was out with a sprained wrist. All right. Also, Josh Hart, man. You know what? Before I even get to Josh Hart, what did you think about the fourth quarter in general, man? Because did you feel like there was any growth from this game, the last game from the fourth quarter?
I think there was growth from this game to the rest of the season. I think I would take it even further than that, as I usually do. It's kind of my MO to jump out the window. I thought the third quarter was kind of we've been one of the best third quarter teams this NBA season.
Yeah.
This third really, I think, threw us off our game. We didn't come out with the right energy. I think Philly really wanted to show up on their home court and get the fans involved. And they really tried to come out and they would shot a little bit higher volume from three. And then we adjusted going into the fourth quarter, and the ball movement got more crisp. It got more purposeful as well. I feel like there were actually some visions of plays being ran, not just for Brunson, but also for Hart and Mikal Bridges too. The only one who I thought didn't really take advantage of his open shots was OG Anunoby. The 3-point shot, as you mentioned on Twitter, where is it? It used to be in the corner. I'm not really sure where it is. I thought he hit like one big one there in overtime, I believe it was.
Right before in the fourth quarter, he hit one in the fourth quarter.
Very grateful for him being clutch, but he has been over the last 2 or 3 years a top 5 corner shooter and a top 5 dependable, efficient corner shooter, and that just hasn't been there. So again, I'm grateful for a clutch 3, but I'm a little concerned about his role within our offense. But we got Josh Hart start right now. That's why I'm advocating for him to be on the bench to help out the bench guys too. But as a starter, he's really the engine. And I think that Brunson not having to be so on ball is really helping him keep his legs under him going into the fourth, but also allowing Hart, who is our best passer, to find guys for easy buckets.
Yeah, the OG 3-point shot thing has been a conundrum. I think he's shooting still around like 27% from 3 since the 40-point game on the Nuggets, which is kind of crazy. And I need to watch it again. When I'm watching the game, I'm like, are they leaving him open on purpose? Because it almost feels like, why is he so wide open? Because they've been, because this is what's been happening right now. Brunson will start off the game passing it to the corners. They'll hit those corner threes. OG, Mikal, they both went cold. Actually, all 3 wings went cold from 3 in the third quarter. All 3. Josh Hart, Mikal, and OG. So then Brunson starts going ISO mode. They start packing the paint. And now our offense looks like trash, because now we're just depending so much on Brunson to score again. And it just looks like trash. And it's like, all right, so it's kind of looked like last year for real, where it's like, we're depending on Brunson to score, and we're just staying in the game by getting rebounds and playing defense. That's exactly what was happening in the third quarter. But it's like we need something else to lean on when those guys aren't shooting well. And I guess kind of I think Cat not being here even exacerbates the problem too, because now it's like, all right, we just going straight up ISO Brunson now. Maybe at least go post up Mikal at least a couple of times. I don't know.
This is a great conversation topic. The same way that I just through repetitive viewing, I noticed that early switch that we talked about with OG on the pick and roll to try to help Cat in guarding the rim. The same thing, I think that I've seen a similar trend where first quarters we're running multiple off-ball screens with Josh Hart as a ball screener for Mikal Bridges to open on those curls on the left side of the court. And then we start the third quarter, the same plays for OG on the right side of the court. Where Mikal is starting to hit, I don't feel like OG is gaining the volume or the trust of his teammates for that to continue. And because Thibodeau doesn't run a whole lot of plays and allows really for read and react, that it's an instinct for Brunson to just go into that. And I think that's going to be, if we ever end up getting a new coach, I think Brunson's going to have a really steep learning curve, because he's going to have to adjust from having free reign and carte blanche to run whatever he wants to, and most of it's ISO when he's on ball, to really having to be more of a system player within someone who has heavy play calling hand on the sideline.
Yeah, it's funny. We won the game, so busting these shots.
That's out, right?
You're all right. No, I just want to break up because I'm about to critique some stuff. I'm about to critique some stuff, but I don't want it to be lost through these critiques that I am happy that we won the game because he won, even though it was a gritty win. We got our rebounds, play some defense. The offense wasn't super pretty. We won the game. I'm still happy we won the game. Bust those shots before I get to this critiques. All right, cool. I'm keeping an eye on OG's demeanor moving forward because I feel like OG is starting to look off people. Maybe just watch the game, but to me, it looks like OG is starting to look off people. And I don't know if it's because he's feeling frustrated that he's not getting his shots, and now it might be affecting the way his teammates trust him. So now he's like going to the rim. I could be completely wrong. It worked out today because when he looked off people, it actually went in. But like, keep an eye on that. There was one play in particular where they were swinging the ball around, and Mikal Bridges was wide open in the corner, wide open. OG had the ball, and he was kind of like that elbow three, and he head faked and then went to the hole and drove. And I was like, that's interesting. That's not the usual thought process that he usually does. And I think I saw him look off Mikal like 2 or 3 times today. So keeping an eye on that. And I don't think Mikal is not necessarily looking off OG. I feel like Mikal is passing it to OG. Actually, Mikal kind of talked about how he looked up to OG before he even got to the Knicks. But it looks like OG looked off Mikal. I'm not trying to start like a whole Twitter thing last year remember there was this whole thing where there was like IQ hates. Who did IQ hate last year? And that turned into a thing. I forgot who it was.
It was Randall for a minute. Remember? He couldn't stand Randall.
No.
And he couldn't stand Deuce. Was it Deuce?
No. It was Deuce. Oh man, I'm glad I forgot his name. Dude, we traded Josh Hart for.
Oh, Cam Reddish.
Cam Reddish. It was like IQ hates Cam Reddish. He always looks him off. I'm not trying to start no craziness like that. But I'm just keeping an eye out on that because it was interesting to see that. For sure. But yeah, that's my thoughts. OG, man, I hope OG finds his shot soon. I'm keeping an eye on OG in his look-offs, and very fortunate to have a brilliant scorer and a brilliant ISO scorer, and Jalen Brunson can torch you and torch most of the NBA one-on-one. But like when the offense gets bogged down, I wish we can vary it sometimes. Between ISO 101 and other plays. But yeah, before you came in, Ebony, I was just kind of talking about how in the third quarter that all 3 of our wings couldn't hit a 3, and we went, and so Brunson went 1-on-1, and we didn't have like a variant. So we played defense, we got the rebounds. That's how we stayed in the game. But we kind of was relying a lot on Brunson, and they kind of crept in the game because that.
Yeah, and a lot of that, it was good movement. It was good ball movement. We had good movement both ways, playing and ball today for the majority of the game. Again, you have some dead spots, but other than that, we had good movement, and a lot of that helped. It was a lot of off ball Brunson today until about the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Hart did playing all-star ish to me. He was tremendous in handling the playmaking. It was basically he was hitting every cutter. Any cutter.
No, Josh Hart's pass was crazy today.
It didn't matter if it was Sims. It didn't matter if it was Mikal. He was hitting Mikal on every little cut he was getting Mikal in his flow, because I tell you that's his strength.
Mm-hmm.
When he moving. You've seen that, but then again we get to the third quarter kind of vibes, and our legs, everything is short. So that comes with minutes, playing time, and your legs get tired. It happens. And you can tell because they're all short. Even Brunson, his shots were short. So he didn't live and die by the 3 today. He decided his floater was on today. He did that very well. Shout out to my guy Sims, who gives great picks. Got Jalen Brunson in his groove early. He was able to move about without much pressure. You know, he was moving and grooving, look real good, look like JB that we know of. So yeah, I just think if we move the ball, y'all, we'd be all right. Even when they was trying to trap Jalen Brunson today, I realized we did what I've been asking for since last year, since Randall and RJ was on the team. We flashed to the free throw line. You saw Mikel do it. You saw Deuce do it. You saw Precious do it. And not only did we flash to the free throw line, then we had alternate movement on the baseline where you had OG running to the dunker spot, or you had Deuce flash to the free throw line and realize he's not going to get it. Let me go through the lane and go to the baseline 3-pointer and help them out. So little stuff like that, I noticed the adjustment. We just got to do that consistently, please. Like that has to happen consistently.
I think they work on that stuff, and I think Thibodeau kind of explained it perfectly. But they work on this type of stuff, but then they'll work on something else and they'll forget that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I noticed like that when they trap, Brunson looks to that foul line bounce pass like 9 times out of 10. He'll look for that foul line bounce pass. But depending on how long the team is and depending on what game it is, the pass not be available, or the defenders are just better that game, or the team aren't moving as much. Like it's a various amount of things that happens when that happens sometimes. But that foul line thing has been going on since actually last season.
If it was, we wouldn't have problems with the zone.
Just because they have problems with the zone, like.
Yeah, we have been having problems with that zone.
I didn't say we did. I'm saying just because we have problems with the zone doesn't mean we haven't seen that before. Like the bounce line, the foul line pass on the zone is like, it's not even like, that's not even NBA stuff. That's like, I learned that playing.
Facts. Fact. That's why I understand why we have so much problems with it. We run a 1-3-1 versus a 2-3, and then you move.
I learned that playing ball in my church league. Like that's not NBA crazy stuff. Like
that's not. That's why
they know to pass the ball to the foul line on traps. Like that's.
But they supposed to know that. But is that what we do? That's not what we do. That is not what we do. That's facts. We try to dribble through the zone. That's what we normally try to do. Pick and roll through the zone. That is not normally what we do. So it was good to see them do that today. It was good, and it was no problem. It really wasn't a problem. They got help. Mikel again moving and cutting. I just like Hart. I like Hart as the playmaker. I like that. That helped Brunson too, because I like off-ball Brunson. I like the fact of him being off-ball, being able to move, being able to catch and shoot. He looks more relaxed. He looks free. Right. It doesn't look like the weight of the world is on his shoulder.
I said the same thing.
So yeah, I do. I like that. I hope a lot of stuff that I saw today, we can do that for the rest of them remaining against other teams, regardless of injuries or what. Just what I saw today, majority of the game. I hope we continue that. Even the pick and roll defense, it was a lot more aggressive, a lot more getting on top of the screen instead of dropping back. Yeah. The times that we did drop back, we got killed. That Maxey 3 happened because Precious dropped back. He gave him a good look. We got killed. So the times that we do, we do it. Yeah,
that's personal.
We get killed.
That's personnel though. Like when Cat's
but when you put Sims, when you put Sims in that game, it's a lot different.
That's what I'm saying. With Cat in the game, like Cat gives us a lot offensively, but defensively, like he's not going to be able to blitz he's not going to be able to blitz those pick and rolls and come up to the 3-point line and stun back. He's not going to be able to do that like the way Precious and Sims is doing that today.
Even Sims, even Precious, he giveth and he taketh. Like it was a lot of plays. I was like, yeah, Precious, and then I was like, come on, Precious, and then right as I'm writing, come on, Precious, he did something good again. Like it was like a lot of give and take with Precious. That's facts. I dead ass wrote, come on, why is Sims not in the game? And then Precious gets a block.
Yeah.
But then right after that, he lets Maxey get a 3-point shot. So like that's what I mean by give it and take it with these plays, and it's going to happen. But some people have a longer leash than others, and
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Because
definitely.
I thought Sims played good basketball today. I did.
Yeah,
I thought
we had a
You-
whole Sims rant earlier, so
um
we're not gonna do it twice for you guys watching.
I started the show with Sims being my MVP, no doubt.
Facts.
yeah, I thought he deserved to be able to be in that game in that fourth quarter. I thought he played well enough to secure those minutes, to be honest.
He did.
Um
He definitely did, but I'm glad Precious was in because I think his off ball help was crucial
like
in that overtime.
I
I'm
fuck
gonna
with
say,
that
yeah,
shooting.
he had some key points. He definitely did have some key moments, but a lot of moments were caused overtime was caused because of Precious being in there. The game got close because a lot of
He missed a
his
lot of
mistakes.
bunnies.
His mistakes. He missed a lot of assignments too. With the difference was the pick and roll. They allowed Maxey to come off the picks when Precious was there. He was more of a guard in the way Cat does than the
He was
way we
dropping.
needed to
You
go.
mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then again, he had a crucial turnover down. Fat Sandman said Precious hand, aluminum hands. But he definitely did that key turnover with the miss, not expecting Josh Hart to pass, and he was passing all game. So I get it, but I thought that Sims did enough to
Yeah.
to earn the minutes.
Yeah.
Let's
I put that on Josh Hart though. That pass wasn't exactly the cleanest. I know the one you talking about the pass in the fourth quarter in traffic. I felt like it was kind of tight to kind of attempt that pass. But
let's keep
I
it.
hear you though. They would like there were certain things like even like the shot clock violation. I'm like, yo, Precious, you gotta be aware. You gotta shoot that. You can't just be. But that's the time when he's above the brim, when he's a straight on with the hoop, he gets a little bit timid offensively. I feel like he only gets aggressive when he's on the left or right side. But overall though, we got the win because of Precious and bench points, man. Let's talk about this bench. This is the first time in a long time that the Knicks bench has outscored the opponent's bench. I think it was 29-1. And I want to start just by talking about Deuce McBride, who's had an up and down season. I think it's, you know what, guys, like when you're injured, it takes you out of your flow. You have to keep starting and stopping and getting your rhythm again. And so I think that's what we're seeing with Deuce McBride is like, all right, he'll start off fast. His leg, I think right before he takes a hiatus, his leg seems to start bothering him. So his shot seems to go down for like 3 or 4 games in a row. Then the coach goes, you know what? He hurt his leg. And then he's rested. And then he comes back. And now we're going through that whole cycle again. And now I feel like we're getting to that point where he's gotten a rhythm again. And we're going to start to see the old Deuce. And today he had 13 points, and we'll need it. And I think when he's in full Deuce mode, hopefully he'll start to get more close to those 17 and 18 points that he was getting last year when he's coming off the bench. Because last year he was getting closer to like 17 and 18 points off the bench. And hopefully we get back to something like that because we need all the scoring we get. And we need some 3-point accuracy too, because since our starters haven't been really up and down shooting the three, we need some 3-point production somewhere, and I'm hoping that comes from Deuce.
Yeah. Shout out to Deuce. I know people they frown their face at the small backcourt of Deuce and Brunson as a starter. But one thing I noticed when Deuce is in there is also he helps stabilize our defense. Even with the recovery and help, he stunts a lot of times. Excuse me, he stunts enough to let you recover and then goes back to his man. So it's not that whole chicken with your head cut off rotation thing we be having going. Um, and I appreciate that from him. And there's the heart and hustle. That's another thing. I'm cool with this win. I know people was like we should have blew them out, whatever the case may be. We won,
I don't care, man.
and it was the heart, the hustle. It was the getting on the offensive rebounds. It was diving to the loose balls. Those
Yep.
are the grit I'm talking about. Not that laying down that we've been watching this a lot this season. That's what has been missing from New York basketball, and
I
it was
agree.
good to see that tonight. Just him hustling up and down the court, getting us an extra possession. Taking back a possession. We had, I think we missed the shot. He came back and got us the ball with his hustle. And yeah, Deuce, it's going to take time. It's going when you, like you mentioned, when you come from an injury, that happens. You got to get back in the flow of things. You got to get back into the pace of going back and forth. Everybody knows the game pace and practice pace is not the same. So just give these people some grace. Give these guys some grace, especially when coming off an injury. But I'm not worried about Deuce. I think he's a dog.
I think a lot of people just don't live in reality. They like to have a narrative, or they made a narrative statement early in the season, and they feel inclined that they have to stick by it so that they don't look like they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But if you think about the last three champions, I like talking about the closest champions because it gives you the best idea of the modern basketball, opposed to the last 5 years or 10 years or whatever. And if you look at the last three champions, each team only had one bench player that was giving you double-digit production in terms of points per game off the bench. Last year with the Celtics, you had Al Horford giving you 9. He was their highest bench guy in the playoffs. The year before, it was Bruce Brown. He gave you about 10, only one in double digits. The year before that, you had Jordan Poole. He averaged 10 points in the playoffs. Warriors won the championship with only 4 guys averaging double digits. We got Hart, OG, Bridges, Brunson, Cat. That's 5. Deuce, that's 6. So I think the situation's always blown out of proportion. I see from people whose opinions I trust and who I appreciate and I support, I see them constantly harping on this. We don't have enough scoring power. Our bench is too weak. We need another 15, 16 point per game player. When the playoffs start, Tibbs' style of pace, of half-court slodge, that actually gives us an advantage because that's how every team starts to play when things slow down, especially in the fourth quarter. And it's to our benefit because when things are slow and we're not trying to outscore our opponent, we're trying to win through defense. Everyone has their role in terms of production and volume. And that's when you only need 4 or 5 guys to average in double digits. And if you think about how our roster is constructed, Deuce gives us a 6 guy. We are in more than perfect shape to go into the playoffs and have enough weapons at our disposal to win a championship based on our roster. There's no need for another big swing because Deuce is that guy. As long as he's healthy, who can give us 10 a game.
We just need defense.
Yeah,
We
I
just need
agree. I
defense.
agree.
I just need
I agree.
100%.
We got top 3 offense. The offense isn't always perfect for sure, but there's a lot more ways to grow with the defense than the offense for sure. When I'm looking at this team,
I agree. That's why I said 60-40 last game because this game here shows what we can be offensively if we move, if we do trust each other. Like this didn't look. This looks different. This looks different. It feels different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? And you know what, Lee? When you said 80-20, I think I'm changing. I think he was closer to 80-20. And the reason is it's just the weird shooting slumps right now. I feel like it's just the weird shooting slumps that makes me drop from the 90 that I had to like the 80. Because like I feel like the system is there to really be good offensively. But the weird shooting slumps might be something. And maybe just like we mentioned before, just the minutes allocation might be taking some of this team out of the offense sometimes in the fourth quarter. Like I was looking at McCall today, like he was really strong in the first half, started to taper off in that third quarter, and I started like, okay, is this a legs thing? Then I look at the minutes again. Shamet completely out the rotation now.
Bruh.
0 minutes. We went
It's
straight up
because
8.
him and Payne seem. I don't know if they can play together. They're taking turns being cheeks. It seems like Shamit, they can't play with Deuce. The both of them, either or. Cam can't play without Deuce, and Shamit can't play with Deuce. Maybe I don't know, but those 3 together is not really working right now. When Deuce wasn't here, Cam struggled tremendously on both ends. He didn't give us much, and when he came back, you seen Cam be back to his normal shooting and talking junk and all that other stuff. But then once he came back, it seemed like Shamit lost his spot. Like he didn't know what to do in that role while them other two there.
There was
And he did get beat a couple times defensively. That was holding him up, keeping him in a rotation because his offense was a little up and down at times. I think that was keeping him in the rotation. But once that started dropping down with the lack of offensive flow that they're getting from that bench, it's just like, okay, I got to pick or choose kind of vibes.
Yeah, but even like Cam offensively has been a lot better over the last few games. So I thought he would at least have more rope than 7 minutes as well. But for sure, I just knew that Shamet with his defensive activity and his and just his reputation of just being a guy who can hit threes. I just thought he would just be in the rotation for at least 10, 15 minutes to spell one of our wings some time. And that's really concerning me right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I think at the end of the day, I know Jacob is doing his thing in G League. It kind of remind me of Deuce. How he was killing in the G League and then eventually forced his way, or I don't know if he forced his way or injuries helped his way into the rotation. But either way, he's part of our rotation now. And I'm thinking, Jacob is a type of Thibodeau guy. He's a Thibodeau type. He's defensive first, and he just added to his offensive game. Now he went 4 for 9 yesterday and finished with 38 points in the G League. So, and again, he hangs his hat on the defensive end. So that's something else to look for. I know I see Gamer Channel say Pacone. Pacone's hurt right now. He has a toe injury or something like that. So that's probably why you didn't see him today on the bench at all or
Not
whatever.
a toe. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, he got a toe injury. He got a foot injury or whatever. So
That's crazy.
yeah, I just want any given to me. Just play those people who, again, I may agree with Campaign. He had a pretty good outing today when he was in there, and maybe got a little shot happy, and that might have got him to the bench. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? And maybe he wanted him to be more playmaking, and he was jacking the shot up. I don't know, but the minutes they can't continue like this. I know they're professionals, but your body is your body. That's a lot of banging pulls and rubbing pulls. There's a lot of that to do that all season, and we're not even at the All-Star break yet. You expect another second half of that? Something has to give.
The most predictable, unpredictable trait of Tom Thibodeau is the minute distribution. I don't think you can ever really predict what he's going to do, except outside of it's going to be a short rotation, and he's going to have a very short leash with anyone who doesn't start, and sometimes one of his starters. But in this case, he trusts all 5 of the starters pretty handily. I don't think there's going to be any consistency as the season goes out. I think even the playoffs, I think you're going to see some surprises with guys in and out of the rotation, depending on the series. You guys see a series where Precious plays and Sims doesn't, and vice versa, or Campaign plays it and Shaman doesn't, and vice versa. I wish it wasn't like that, because Nick Nurse is probably the best proxy to Tom Thibodeau in terms of how he coaches his defensive schemes, kind of leading the play calling to the veteran guards on the court, not doing a whole lot of heavy-handedness, but even he has been willing to dip into his bench based on injuries, where you see guys like Adam Bona, who I didn't know even existed on this earth, and Justin Edwards, who I had no idea who he was before I watched him today, or Jeff Dowling, who I still don't believe is a real human being or basketball player. He played 14 minutes tonight and gave you 7 points. He is willing to exercise this level of risk in a game that really matters, both in terms of the rivalry of last year's playoff, but also trying to get out of the muck and get your team back going. He's willing to try something different to reverse the fortune of your season, and he's going very deep in his bench. That's something I wish every now and then Tom Thibodeau would do, especially in the month of January. Perhaps not in April, but at least in January. Try some things out. We haven't really seen that this season.
Yeah, because
Go ahead.
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You got it.
I was about to say I agree, because the longer the season goes by, the less you can experiment. These months are when you try to experiment and try to see if you can push somebody else in your rotation and things. If you don't, as the season go by, that's when you're trying to get your playoff philosophy together. Right. Now you're trying to implement what you want to do in the playoffs. So yeah, this is the time to me too that we should definitely try. We should try different things out. But I'm gonna give Tibbs a real quick shout out after you finish, though, Jay. I know you had something you want to say.
No, go get the shout out.
I want to shout out earlier in the game. Tibbs did show some accountability, holding his players accountable. It was an instance where I think we got beat off a missed shot. He immediately called the timeout. Maxey scored his first points in the second quarter, right? But then he scored another bucket, another bucket. Tibbs immediately called timeout. So that is adjustments that he has not always done. Normally he'll let you kill the person, kill and kill and kill until you got that timeout.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very early timeouts today, very get your stuff together timeouts today. And I'm all for that. Keep your team accountable. I'm with that. If you do that from Cat to Sims, it doesn't matter. If you're not doing your job, let them know about it.
Right. Heard you. All right, yo. Salute to the chat. This is these super chats. Let's get to it. First, I'm gonna keep saying it, man. Y'all been really awesome this year with the super chats. I definitely appreciate all of the help you've given us and the support you've given us through super chats, likes, the shares, and all that. But especially super chat because y'all showing out this year. So shout out to Sam Man, gave us a $5 super chat. Said despite the win, Nurse ran circles around our lovely potato head, as Ebony calls him, Mr. Tom. I'm not gonna read that. It's a family show. Boop-ito.
I like that though. I like that. It's still a family show. I'm gonna have to use that off the show though. But I like that.
And he also sent another super chat, $2 super chat. Says Precious Aluminum Hands MVP. Yeah. Pretty much. Any more? Shout out to Sherwin, shout out to Angril, The Predicate, Alexander, Gamer Channel. Any standout comments in the chat? I haven't really been looking at the chat.
Yeah, I was looking at my paper, so I just seen the first chat. But shout out the chat.
Yeah.
I see Gamer Channel with Mitch Robinson. I'm always gonna say that's a big one.
Yeah, I can't wait to have Mitch back, man. There has been news on Mitch. It seems like they expect him back early February.
Mm-hmm. They said that I think I heard they said they're gonna try him in I guess the coming weeks to see how he does and with physical, some contact, and then they'll make their decisions from there. So it sounds like we in fourth quarter when it comes to his return.
Yeah. Also, I heard he lost weight too, so I'm very curious.
I seen him. He looks good. He does look very good when he's on the bench.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that affects his movement. If that helps him stay on the court longer, if he gains some of his quickness back. I'm curious to see how he looks now that he lost some weight.
As you guys know, in early June, before the Karl-Anthony Towns trade happened, I was a huge advocate of bringing Jonas Valanciunas in to back up Mitch. Mitch start. This is before the Randall trade. I wanted Mitch to start and Valanciunas come off the bench because Valanciunas can kind of give you like a C+ version of Hartenstein's skill set. A little bit of that high post passing, a little bit of that rim shot, that push shot, intermediate. People call him that, but he's not really a 3-point shooter. So I was like, cool. Vet has a lot of playoff experience. Seemed like the CAA tied target. Now that Karl-Anthony Towns is here, I am 1,000% against the idea of trade Mitchell Robinson for Jonas Valanciunas. Imagine the lack of rim protection. Yeah, but I'm seeing in this Ian Bedley's recent show that James Edwards from The Athletic, and I'm not going to say anyone quoted this, but the conversation seemed to be a reaffirmation that Jonas is not only still a target, that he's the most likely swap target or potential trade for Mitchell Robinson if Mitch's rehab or poor performance on the court is not up to where Leon Rose wants by the deadline. Wow. The swap would be essentially Mitch for Jonas. If that happens, we are cooked at the 5. Love Jonas as a backup, 12, 14 minutes a game behind a solid rim protector, but as a backup behind Cat,
that doesn't serve.
Hell.
Yeah. It doesn't give us anything. It doesn't give us any versatility. It kind of just gives us like a severely less talented Cat type of thing. Like when we really need defense, that's what we really need.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to just show people that look at, I won't call him Baby Mitch, but he does a lot of things that Mitch does, and look how that look when he's doing well doing those things. So now you figure somebody that's elite in doing those things. What does that look like? How many extra points did we get because of Sims today? How many open threes did Mikal actually or OG get because of tip outs or his offensive rebounding? So that's what I'm talking about when people say about his offense. But it doesn't really matter when you're getting 3 points out of his hustle.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was also making the argument that even if that's the type of trade target, I would rather say no and just rely on Mitch. I don't care if he plays 20 games during the regular season. As long as he's available for the playoffs, he is worth it because you cannot give Tom Thibodeau a roster that doesn't fit his schemes. And we're getting further and further away from having a 15-man roster that Thibodeau really plays to his strengths. It almost plays to his weaknesses now. And we if you trade Mitch, you're all the way on, you're completely on the other side of the pendulum. Mitch is the key. He's the most Tibbs player on the team. And he's also the last guy that really represents what was our identity, which is offensive rebounding, second chance points, and rim protection. You can't get rid of it. Never trade Mitch.
And just the fact that, all right, cool, we're really good right now. I don't know, man. When you look at the way the Timberwolves were clicking last season when they had Gobert and Cat at the 4, like you can't help but wonder, all right, Mitch is not going to be the full-time center next to Cat, but having Cat next to Mitch kind of mirrors that. So you gotta, and they were kind of looked at as a team who was contending when they had that lineup. So you gotta think.
Definitely.
You gotta think. Just it's kind of looking apples to apples. You gotta at least look at that.
I'll take it further. I think this should, and I argued for this a couple pods ago, we should already be simulating that with Sims.
Yeah, I was about to say
there should already be 8 or 10 minutes, in my opinion, shared with Cat and Sims sharing the floor based on matchup. It doesn't have to be an every game thing, but when the matchup calls for it, do it because it'll be a major strength to have the bid-to-bid lob, bid-to-bid strings. I mean, that then in the short roll, that should be really dangerous on the rim and really enforce our offensive rebounding and put back ability as well. I don't know why we're not simulating that. Again, another reason why I advocated to start the show with Sims being reinserted into the rotation.
Yeah. I agree with everything Lee just said, especially because I don't think anybody we can get for Sims is going to be a piece that's going to make much of a difference. I'm sorry, I don't think that's gonna happen. But you have somebody a 5 where you can be aggressive. That's why we were able a lot of times to be aggressive in the pick and roll because they're comfortable just flat out switching with him. He was standing in front of Maxey. He was standing in front of PG-30, whatever number he wear now. He was standing in front. He was standing in front of him. He was standing in front of these players. Even the Yasu, I can't say his name for nothing. The French player that came from the guy shined from playing in the French national team. Yasu, yeah, him.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna do it because
I keep
trying in my head,
and
it ain't coming nowhere near his name.
You and Clyde, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, me and Clyde, we got that in common.
Oh man, I wish you was watching on MSG when Clyde was singing after the Knicks was passed.
What was he singing though?
He was singing. I mean, I recognize that in American culture as singing. Other people might recognize it as torture.
Yeah, that's what I was watching it on TNT, and for once, Doris didn't make me mad. She surprised me.
Okay,
definitely gave Hart and Sims Deuce too flowers throughout the whole game. I was she seemed like a fan of those players.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Welcome to the dark side, Doris. All right. All right. I feel like I've talked about everything I need to talk about during this game. Do you guys want to? Any final thoughts about the game before I get to Ooze and Bras?
No, I just a lot of stuff. We had a lot of bright spots today, and I hope we can carry it on and continue working on these bright spots. And that keep the extra pass and allowing others maybe to help with the playmaking. Because it looked good today. Josh looked very good, very decisive. That ball came out his hand quickly. Every time somebody cut, he didn't miss.
Yeah, Josh was quarterback today. He was
it was crazy, and I liked it because again, Jalen looked very comfortable today. Like he looked like the Jalen that we've grown to love.
Yeah. I
He
agree.
didn't. Yeah, so I like our aggressiveness on the pick and roll. I want that to continue. Again, matchup wise, we don't always have to hedge or switch it up every once in a while because everybody just thinks we're going to drop coverage. So I like that we weren't so as predictable. We still were because inbound plays, people know what we're doing. but
Yeah.
but other than that, I like this is definitely a game we can work on and grow from.
One pet peeve.
What's that?
It was one. It was something small. The turnover that Jalen Brunson had when
Two of
Maxi,
them.
huh?
Two of them.
I know there's one I'm talking about in particular. When you're sharing the court, when people are sharing the court with each other, they gotta tell people when someone's behind them, man. Like Brunson had the ball on one side of the court, and he was already dealing with PG, and then Maxi was able to run up all the way behind him and then poke the ball away. Like no one should, if you have 4 other teammates on the court, no one should ever be able to sneak up behind you without somebody saying something.
Oh yeah. Fair.
It might be I don't know because the crowd noise could be a factor of that too.
That's true.
Yeah, that can happen. Crowd noise can drown you out when you trying to tell them, but you can't hear. You don't know who it is because you can't just go off with everything you hear. Because sometimes the crowd does
That's
do
true.
stuff like shoot.
Yeah, I feel you. Maybe it's just me. Cause I just make it a point, like when I was playing on my little, if someone that's coming up behind you,
Yeah.
watch your back behind something. It's like,
Yeah.
no, that's
They gotta have like some players do. They have like little cue codes or something like that, so it's them. Because I remember when I was playing, my cousins would come to the game and that would be them. You got somebody behind you. You looking behind. So I understand.
Oh man.
We got another super chat too, Jay.
Oh, let's go. Gamer channel. Okay, shout out to Gamer channel. Precious didn't hit a 3 today, but he still decided to give us a super chat. He said Mitchell Robinson averaged 4.6 offensive rebounds per game last year. That could potentially lead to 8 to 12 extra points a game when Mitch comes back. Yeah, Mitch had like a crazy stat. I don't remember if it was last year or this year, where he led the league in assisted 3-pointers after offensive rebounds or something crazy like that. It was some really
and he was leading in contested rebounds too.
But yeah,
yeah.
nah, for sure. I can't wait for Mitch to come back so you can see what that looks like with this team for sure. Longest standing Knick.
And Jay, imagine with the 5 out we play, and if we're moving the ball, you have to box out Mitch on the move. What does that look like? 1-on-1. More teams will have to do that because they can't help in group rebound when they guarding Mikal, you guarding OG, you guarding Cat, you guarding Jalen Brunson.
That's true.
So
that's very true. Yeah. All right, let's get it. Do you guys have any Uber picks?
I can't remember her name right now, but the congresswoman who was threatening violence in the chambers, right?
Oh, that was funny. Okay, yeah, that was crazy.
I think her name something Mace, right? I can't remember her first name.
I don't remember her name, but
dang, I can't. I know his last name Mace, but come on, lady, you want no parts of that. Stop it.
Just to explain to the crowd, there is. Sometimes there's cultural barriers. And this is one of those instances where there was a cultural barrier where in Congress there is I don't know the woman's name, but I saw it on Instagram.
It's a Negro, I think I can't remember. It said Nancy. Yeah, they saying Nancy Mace, the chat. Nancy. And shout out to Alexandra who says the Congress child.
Yeah. Nancy Mace was Nancy the name of the person who wanted to go outside, or the person?
Yeah, it's Jasmine. I know the person she was talking to. She's a budding star in this political world. That's Jasmine Crockett.
Jasmine
And
Crockett. There we go.
yeah, she used to be a attorney too. Yeah, go ahead.
She's from Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
I voted for her last election.
Jasmine Crockett said child, CHILE, after she gave her monologue speech talking about whatever she was talking about. And Nancy thought she called her a child. Child is slung like, child, did you hear it? Nancy thought she called her a child and offered to meet her outside to fight. And it was like, huh.
Bruh.
It's like, what are you talking? That's not. I didn't call you a child. That's. But sometimes you gotta remember where you are. Sometimes, man.
Yeah, and you gotta learn other people's vernacular at times. It helps to stop misunderstandings, I guess.
That's a fact.
But yeah, and it was very unprofessional. And Jasmine had handled that with much profession, just saying, I'm trying to reclaim my time. Basically, I'm trying to talk. It's my time to talk. Can y'all get this lady in check before I do it type vibes?
Yeah.
Because if she didn't handle it any other way, you already know those thug words and unprofessional and all that would have went flying.
Word.
So,
but
shout out to Jasmine Crockett.
That was an interesting bro pick. Okay.
Bruh.
I had to do it. I thought I was like, yo, what world do we live in, man?
Meet me outside.
These people run the power of our government talking this way.
Yeah. Any basketball bro picks today?
None that I remember. Oh, I guess people would think us not getting Nick Richards, right? That's what everybody called us crazy for not going after that. But I think that Charlotte got exactly who they wanted in that trade. So you can't really say what we could have got because I think they had already wanted. Who they give up? What's his name?
Okogie.
Okogie. There you go. That was said that when the first I'm good on Richards too. I don't really didn't want him, but the first rumor that came out was it was Nurkic. People were like, why would they do that? And I guess that was their first proposal, and Charlotte was like, no, we don't have any interest. They had interest in Kobe, so now they got him. So they got the guy that they wanted. Okay, it's as simple as that, y'all.
Yeah,
I'd rather have Mitch. Personally, there's like in every scenario for the simple fact that Mitchell Robinson is elite at something that Richards is not. And Mitchell Robinson now has 2 playoff appearances under his belt where he was a pivotal, at times the most pivotal player for the New York Knicks against Cleveland and then against Philadelphia and Joel Embiid. We all remember that. Nick Richards, though, solid pickup for Phoenix, given props. Mm-hmm. They definitely needed some rim protection. They need some rim rolling. They're one of the worst front court depth teams in the playoff picture. Right? Well, I would say they're in the playoff picture. They had 9 wins right now, or 9 or 10. But I think he helps them tremendously. And with them, they will probably make the play in, my prediction.
All right.
I'd rather have Mitch.
Yeah, I'd have Mitch too. I didn't feel need. I didn't see a need. Gaming Channel. I see you, Gaming Channel. He says, ooh, pick. He said, ooh, pick for NCAA March Madness will pay women's teams under a new structure approved by the NCAAs. Yeah. Ooh, pick worthy.
About time.
Get that money.
Yeah. I got another ooh pick. I'm gonna ooh pick them because they're doing this correctly, showing women's basketball in the correct light. Unrivaled, the off-season league by Nafisha Collier and Brianna Stewart is putting pressure on the W on how your league should be marketed, and you get to be able to see the players outside of the basketball, which is so crucial to getting new fans. Feeling connected with the product. So shout out to Unrivaled. Right. And then Fritz, that starts on Friday.
All right, shout out to Unrivaled. Okay,
I got 2 picks. My first one's from my main man Kelvin Sampson down in Houston. My favorite college coach. I'm not real big into NCAA, but Kelvin Sampson is someone who I have a lot of respect for in the program at Houston. Phi Slamma Jamma, shout out Hakeem Olajuwon. He has won 32 straight home games. It's the longest
Mm.
win streak in the entire nation. So I wanted to give a shout out to another Texas dog down there, Quentin Grimes, alma mater, and just an all around excellent coach. And then second, a huge ooh to the proposed ceasefire that's been agreed upon thus far by Israel and Hamas. That'll lead to the freeing of political prisoners as well as the refugees that go back to Israel, and a ceasefire on all the damn bombing. So grateful there'll be less people dying, hopefully here. And shout out Joe Biden for getting it done before his term ends. I think that should have been the number one thing he should have been working on, in my opinion, because we were funding it and giving him the bombs. So it just should have stopped. And now it has. And I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, facts on fact. Game, you got one, Jay?
Do I have any ooh picks? My ooh pick goes to Jalen Brunson for just being a cold man. All right, took over the overtime.
Dog.
He's like, you know what? When Jalen Brunson got the screen from Precious and hit that three, and then the look on his face, you know, you look on somebody's face and go, "Oh, they are in trouble." Like that look on his face was like, "Oh, they in trouble," because he had the smug look on his face, like, "Oh, they can't guard me." Oh, they can't guard me, and he just continued to cook them every which way till Sunday in overtime, and the Knicks didn't miss a shot. The only shot he kind of missed was the almost 4-point play that rimmed in and out after Paul George clobbered him. And if that would have hit, yeesh. So yeah, my pick goes to Jalen Brunson for dropping 38 and cooking these dudes in overtime.
Yeah, Fritz got an ooh pick. Fritz ooh pick is that Kolick lob to Jacob Toppin from half court. Basically.
Oh yeah, I did see that going around Knicks Twitter. Crazy pass, double teamed over the double team. What was like a 40-foot lob off the double team over the shoulder?
Yep, that was tough. It was tough.
That was tough.
It was tough.
That was a tough lob.
It was
Court vision.
Facts
for sure.
And another bruh pick. I do Gamers Channel bruh pick. He said, Caitlin Clark's stalker, nutty, definitely nutty.
Bruh.
No place and nothing for that. You know, it's crazy. And this is a young woman. This man is about old enough to be her grandfather type vibes. So and he did show no remorse. So glad that he's off the streets. He in his hearing and he's laying back. The judge that came and get her full statement out. Guilty as charged. This crazy mofo says. Like, what? Ooh. So yeah, get him out of there. And there's a lot of more weirdos out there. I see them every day in these women DMs and in the bottom of their whatever they're tweeting. So I hope this sets the tone maybe for the other followers. Like they're onto you. You know, they can get you.
Got you.
I got one more ooh pick.
What's that?
And it's one for the family. Shout out my main man, Fritz Alcindor, the fifth Beatle. Now, I don't know if you know, but our best man in the game, Fritz, a very dear friend of mine and a great part of this KOT team, has his own channel. It's called the NBA Economy Show, and I've been tuning in the last couple of shows and been giving him props out the season for improving his ball knowledge across the league. He's becoming a much better analyst, in my opinion. Not that he was ever bad, but I've noticed the improvement. He's watching a lot more NBA too. His most recent video, my guy has about 232 subscribers, which is pretty damn good for only 37 videos just started. Shout out on that regard. But last video streamed 9 hours ago, 206 views on the Knicks trading balance units with Mitch Robinson. I'm watching you, buddy. I'm keeping an eye on your channel, been giving you some advice on how to improve things, and you've been taking it in stride. I'm very proud of you, my friend. Not only 9 hours ago, and you already got 200 views on that vid. Great job, Fritz. Well done.
Shout out to my guy Fritz, man. Shout out to my guy Fritz.
Go give him a like and a follow.
Hell yeah. Like, follow NBA Economy. Sure. All right. Book club? Any book club?
No, man.
I'm still. Go ahead. You got one, Lee?
No, I would say I'm writing a book of poetry at the moment. So I haven't really been reading as much as I usually do, and I have not read since the last game. So I'm not going to front and pretend I have.
Okay, I'm gonna just reiterate what I saw on my anime. Solo leveling. That joint is fire. Watch that. Crunchyroll subscribers, huh?
Say it again.
Solo leveling. It's the name of the show. Solo leveling on Crunchyroll. It's on Crunchyroll.
You'd be proud of me, Jay. I did a whole anime. I did a One Piece. You know, I
you did
watched
One
it
Piece?
yeah, I watched it with the Mister and my son because they're big anime fans. But I'm not into that. I'm not big on that. So I was like, okay, I like this. I like the movie, the with the people more than the animation though.
Got you. Oh, you watched the new the on Netflix.
Yeah, I watched both. I actually because after I watched the
Live action.
Yeah, I watched the live action first. So let me get to see the cartoon since I like the live action. I was like, let me go to the cartoon. So I watched. Yeah, I was able to watch One Piece.
Okay,
I prefer the live action.
Yeah, One Piece got 1 million episodes. I'm not gonna lie, I came late to One Piece. There's a quadrillion episodes. My sister's like on season 6,000,005 or something. It's a journey. Cool. Well, if you got time to kill, you can watch One Piece because there's enough episodes to kill your time. All right. Mm-hmm. But Solo Leveling for sure. It's 14 episodes out, I think. You'll run through that. You'll run through that joint, yo. Addictive. Solo Leveling. Fight scenes, bananas. All right.
Okay.
Cool. All right, yo. That's the show. Thank you guys for watching. Ebony, let us know where we can find you.
You can find me here after every Knick game, post game. You can find me on pregame on Twitter at Your Take Knicks. Do the pregame space there, and so you can find me on Mad Knick at Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok for now because TikTok's on his last legs. But I'm there. And that's it. That's all. Oh, Bowling with the Queens because we're doing on Rival Space too. So that'll be cool. We'll do like a recap. Yeah, recap space with Bowling with the Queens on Twitter. So look for that too.
Alexander said, Jay, we need an anime KOT intro. That'd be fire.
Oh, that would be tough.
Sick.
Yeah.
Oh man. Don't let me get the money I want. The stuff I would do with it. Okay.
Let's go.
The stuff I would do with KOT if I had like a boatload of money. Y'all wouldn't even y'all would be like, what? Who would even think to do this shit?
I imagine our intro like an anime X-Men where it's each one of our characters.
Oh my God.
Like a Latin assassin with the sniper. Let's go. I love it.
With the sniper?
The Latin assassin, baby.
For real, that's funny. That's funny.
Oh man.
That's funny.
Sniping with hoop earrings.
Yo, Alex, the sniper with hoop earrings is crazy.
My son took all my pum pums. He took all his my props.
There's definitely a lot of anime characters that I kind of like ambiguous with.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm dead. All right. Yeah, Lee, let them know where they can find you.
Just saw two stats on Twitter before we go. The sixth highest paid player in the NBA, shout out NMDAR1 on Twitter, is Paul George. He scored only 3 points in the fourth quarter. Shout out OG Anunoby's incredible defense. Second stat, top 10 teams in off-ball shot making. Number 2, New York Knicks. After number 1, Cleveland Cavaliers. So Tibbs, say what you want. The movement's there, the opportunities are there, and the attention's there. We're doing what we need to do. It can only get better from here. No doom and gloom.
You just gotta hit some open shots, buddy. Gotta hit some open shots. Yo, if we hit open shots in the third quarter, the game would have been over. Like, we missed so many open shots. But I'm fine. My bad. Continue.
And imagine what those offensive rebound and kickouts from Mitch Robinson's going to look like when he returns as well. I think about the extra points there and extra opportunities for our role players. But yeah, find me on Twitter at @Leescobedo, LEEESCOBEDO.
Yeah. One thing we didn't talk about real quick too is that before we close out the show is that we didn't have really depend solely on our half court defense. We got into transition today. We got into the fast break. We did not mention
transition was
unusually
we got
into
the
today. Fast break. Yeah, we did because we're not normally used to so you forget to talk about it, but we did get into transition today.
Yeah, it's been unusually good. Like we don't get into a lot of early offense, but we actually beat them in fast break points. I think I actually wrote it down. What was the number? I think it was like 20-2 or something crazy.
I know I had wrote it down at halftime. We was at 12-2, so
We was
that
at
was a
12-2
good look
at halftime.
At half.
Points off
I don't know what we finished
turnovers,
with.
fast break. Okay, it was 18-13 by the time the game was over. But yeah, still a good sign for us. Cool. All right, you already know the deal, man. Follow us at the KOT Show on Twitter, the Knick of Time Show on Instagram, and the Knick of Time Show on Facebook as well. All right, cool. That is the show. Thank you guys for watching. And as always,
shout out the World Wide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in these Knicks YouTube streets. That's the show. We out of here. We're going to see you on Friday versus the Timberwolves. Let's go. Julius Randle back in the garden. Get ready to scream. Boo. Let's get it.
Gregory Lee actually their show tomorrow.
What happened?
Gregory Lee actually did a show tomorrow with the guys. I guess he took my nightcap.
Phil?
Yes.
Yes, there is. You already know. Knicks nightcap will be tomorrow, so definitely come. Knicks nightcap. It's every Thursday. It's supposed to be every Thursday. There's been some hiccups, but Thursday nights for sure. Come here for Knicks nightcap for those guys. All right, cool. That's the show. Thank you guys for watching. One more time, I'll do it.
Shout out the World Wide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in these Knicks streets. That's the show. We out this mug. We'll see you Thursday and Friday. Peace.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.